Yeah, I'm recording it to the cloud as well.
Okay. I found that the cloud is not very reliable because the space got filled up very soon. Anyway, so you want me to start the presentation?
Yes, please. And for about anything else you feel we should know, of course, we have questions like I wrote you in the email about what is cybernetics.
Yeah, it's
completely,
completely for your question.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
Sharing first. You see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Club of Remy. The first thing is what does that Remy mean? Remy is a French and Swiss German name. That means oarsmen. Those people who row the oars for the boat. It was a merge of the two distinct Latin names, Remigius, roller, oarsman, and Remedies, cure, remedy. So people come here trying to find out some solutions to their problem. So that's basically the first meaning. Remy is also the name of an apartment with meeting facilities in New Carrollton, Maryland, where Jason started the club in early 2020 with Peter and a bunch of other friends living in Washington, D.C. area. The first group of Club of Remy members are most cybernetics scholars. And the word cybernetics stems from Greek kybernetes, which means steersman, governor, pilot, or rudder. So here you have a oarsman and a rudderman all together. So hopefully the boat will go on. And our principle is anyone with a good brain is welcome. We run into somebody with not so good brain, so that's some exception. You come here to be the audience, just listening, or you can be the participant of question and answers, and you can be the discussant of a TIU topic of importance and urgency. So and also you can propose any TIU to the group. So that is the brief introduction of what it is. Now the method we use is not a purely invention. It comes from natural processes. This diagram is the natural photosynthesis. It's a circle process going on. And here is the very basic circular interactions of chemicals that formed our life. So it's at a very, very fundamental, very basic level. So doing a circular kind of thing, it was named by part of the cyberneticians and eventually put a label, Manfred Eigen put this as a hypercycle. So it is a principle of self-organization. Self-organization is also a big branch of cybernetics. So Club of Remy is just walk the talk. We talk about the self-organization, and we now use this platform of a club to practice self-organization. So this diagram is on the Club of Remy website, first page. So it introduces how we work, pretty simple, straightforward. First, it starts from you, anyone who is welcome. You have an idea that is important and urgent. Well, at this point, it was just considered by yourself as important and urgent. And you want to discuss it. So you want to discuss with our other members. So you just write one page title, abstract, outline. So it's your idea. So you give that to me. I will post it to our members. We currently have about 200 members as a call for discussion. So because your idea is staying within your brain, it's not yet having some other people also sharing the same interests or same similar and coming up with different ideas, but targeting at the same topic. So when this call for discussion is sending out, you have several possibilities. No one response is the first possibility. So that means sorry, your idea is too peculiar, it's too unique that nobody else is willing to discuss it. So you have just wait. But most likely, if your idea is interesting, we say if 2 or more members are interested, then these interested members, everyone prepare some PowerPoints. So at this step, we're doing better than just a free chat, because you can always getting together to do a chat, but it's not so serious. So if you prepare to a certain degree, not a lot, not a whole 2-hour lecture, but you prepare for 20 minutes talk. And in our experience, it's about 7 or 8 PowerPoint slides. Then we can schedule a meeting. So the meeting is on Zoom. So the difficulty you need to overcome is the time zone difference. We are having difficulties to coordinate with colleagues in Australia. Otherwise, from US and from in Europe, we can always find a convenient time to get together. So discussion happens. Now, different from regular lectures that one person do a presentation and other people sitting there listening and raise some questions. And the host says, thank you very much, and everybody go home. Instead of that pattern, we always need 3 discussions. The more the better, the more is just to be limited by the time available, because we want to control the whole length of the session into 2 hours. So 3 is ideal. Sometimes the topic is so important, then we only have 2 discussions, and then we'll do a 2 discussion. But there's no solo presentation in Club of Remy. The discussion generates collective wisdom. And the whole thing is recorded and put to the YouTube. So it's a way of publication. And the whole world has a chance to see, to listen to your ideas. And this comes back to the starting point. So this becomes a circle. Now, the best value of this way of organizing discussions is that you can compare it with the cost of attending a regular conference. You have a registration fee to pay, you have a hotel fee to pay, you have airline tickets, etc. And at the end of the day, you got your presentation of your 20 minutes in a smaller group. So probably 10 people were there. So you published your paper in that way. But compared with that, Club of Remy is virtually free for the participants. So this is a very good way that I think it can spread around like McDonald's. So that is the explanation of how this thing works. Now, Effie raised a number of questions about cybernetics. She asked about the old cybernetics, neo-cybernetics, meta-cybernetics, and also she didn't mention we have some colleagues promoting third-order cybernetics. So this kind of a category, I say, it's rough and non-official, but there are a good number of people using it. So I summarized a little bit here on the focus and the key ideas and the main authors. So if you have to use this category, okay. The old so-called classic cybernetics, the focus is on self-regulating and adaptive systems. So anything fit into this criteria fits into this category. And the key ideas is, of course, feedback loops, homeostasis, and also information theory, control systems, rocket science, anything that has automatic control capacity falls into this category. Of course, main authors are Nobel winner, Ross Ashby, McCullough, etc. I think we have about 15 of them here. I don't have a space to list them here. Now, so-called neo-cybernetics is another word, another name is second-order cybernetics, focused on the influence of the observer. So notice the difference, the distinction is in this category, all the systems are being observed from outside, and you can manipulate, like Nobel winners, automatic gun control system, or like some neurophysiological system. They were studying some disease with the brains, and everything you observe from outside. Now, the so-called neo-cybernetics started by Hans von Forst and Raylan Maturana, even from Glaserfield. They pay higher and higher attention to the influence of the observer. So basically, the paradigm is that, okay, you cannot separate the observer of the system with the system being observed. So that is a different category. I think starting from 1960s, basically from University of Illinois, Bernard-Champin, led by Hans von Forst. And today we have a lot of cyberneticians were coming from that group. Now, meta-cybernetics is another label, I think, initially started by Gregory Bateson. And they pay high intention, they're focused on assumptions, methodologies, and the limitations of cybernetics itself. So for me, it's very hard to draw a very clear distinction between neo-cybernetics and meta-cybernetics. And in Club of Remy, we have Maurice York, who has write a lot of very complicated papers on meta-cybernetics. And also, people talking about the third order, they shifted attention from these into relationships, a network of relationships between different observers and systems. So in my opinion, this classification is not very clear, at least to me, it's not very clear. The main authors here is still in debate. It could be all of above. And like we have Bernard Scott here, we have Maurice here, they are paying more attention to these areas. So that's my observation. But I don't like that. Okay, even maybe my summary, the summary is not so good. Maybe Peter and John, you can do better summaries of that situation. But I prefer, through all this jungle, I prefer a different category. It is at the science level. I define science as a method for achieving rationality. So because there are different philosophers of science, starting from Karl Popper, and then and Thomas Kuhn, and Feyerabend, and Lacapos, etc., etc. So, from a very strict definition of logic positivism, all the way to Feyerabend's anything goes, against matter. I do not agree with that. I think at least we do need some kind of method, but the methods should be distinguished in different areas. So I use 4 different versions framework to perceive different type of sciences. And if you put cybernetics as part of a science, you also have 4 versions of cybernetics here. So the first one is focus on facts, natural laws. And the facts and the natural laws are defined or discovered or even invented by observers. Okay, and in this category, you have to reach 100% of cognitive stability, which means if I discovered Jason's law somewhere in my laboratory, and Peter should also repeat the same experiment and 100% duplicate that result. So the Bible of this area is, of course, the work by Galileo, by Newton, by Einstein, and the criteria in this area is what Karl promoted, falsification. In other words, if you are promoting a scientific theory in this category, you have to let us know what kind of experiment that can prove that you are wrong. And people will, from all over the world, will start doing that experiment. If they prove you're wrong, you're wrong. If they cannot prove you're wrong, and your hypothesis works, it's not a truth, but it's a working hypothesis. Okay, so second category, starting from the involvement of observer, starting from the fact that you cannot completely eliminate the effect of the observer. I think the goal changed in this area. It changed from finding facts and natural laws into finding or supporting 6 C's. 6 C, first one is cognition. So constructivism focused on our brain constructing our reality, constructing our outside world. So this is the first thing you, as an observer, start using all of your sensors, and you make your cognitive work. And you get to know something. And then after you think you have known something, and then that something needs to be spread to other people. So you do communication. Second C is communication. communication is how to say, communication is kind of in my perception is one way. So I make effort to say what I need to say. I still don't care about what Peter understand it or not. So that's the second stage, is just to communication. And it's Peter's responsibility to understand me. But on the third stage, okay, I realize the communication is not enough because Peter is not getting it. So conversation is the third stage. So instead of just I'm broadcasting my idea, the result of my cognition, I start using my ear to listen to Peter or listen to all discussants. So we engage into a conversation. Conversation is the process. It's like process of a dance. So everyone is changing everyone, and in hopefully a coordinated process. So fourth stage, the fourth C is consensus building. Well, we can agree with something, or we can agree to disagree. If the result is disagree, okay, so we stay there, not moving forward. But just in case, fortunately, if we agree upon something, we have a consensus. A consensus is the building block of community. So when we have a consensus, our social behavior starting to have coordination. That's the fifth C. And the last one is co-construction. If our coordination is doing better and better, we co-construct or co-create something. So Club of Remy is a co-construction by all the participants. So, but everything in this area stays within the community or near close to the community. And there are situations in social science that we run into different communities having different interests or conflict of interests. So the third level science is about game theory. So in my view, game theory is useful between different groups. It's in between different communities. Okay, but there is one bottom line. It's all of players play by the same rule. Okay, so if all the players obey the same rule, and game theory can help you to win. And there are also what I call gray game theory. It's not, the rules are not so fixed. The rules can be twisted, but still there are rules there. The last area will be science for no shared rules. And that is a war zone. It's a chaos room. And we have very little, at least not much literature here, but it is the area we need to pay attention. Whenever we run into the situation that the goals of the rivals not compatible. So one side has to die. One side is determined to eliminate the other side. And that conflict has to be resolved by force, not by rationality. Well, all the rationality is hidden in how do you effectively use the force to guarantee your own survival. So overall, I think this framework is better than the previous one. And you can put different cybernetics studies in all these 4 different categories, which is the one I like. So back to Effie's question is about what is cybernetics? And that is, how to say, a good question at a good time, because I had written this manuscript about 30 years ago, in 1993. And I wrote it and I set it aside and went on to do some practice about it. So it has 9 sections, as you can see. Introduction part covered what is, where is, when does cybernetics emerge, who is doing cybernetics, this kind of question. And I listed 5 key concepts: homeostasis, negative feedback, self-organization, eigenstate, stability, as a very fundamental cybernetics 101 learning. And 5 key principles: circular causality and requisite variety, eigenmechanism, dual phase mechanism, and relative objectivity. And this is the first 3 sections. And secondly, is all about understanding. The understanding is a phrase used by Hans von Forest. So here is focused on the question of about the knowledge. How do we know what we think we know? And so it is also focusing on what people say constructivism, the core of constructivism. And using this kind of background knowledge, I devoted a section about science and technology, and then about the multiverse, social systems, ecosystems, and focused on the need of communication. I call it communicatics, a set of tools and methodology that helps to do communication. And the last section of, last 3 parts are all about tools. So this answers Effie's question about what tools we can use. So this was 30 years ago. I categorized 3 different types for tools. In realist approach, this is a very traditional, very classic first of all cybernetic stuff called the function analysis, transfer function analysis. And then we have a Stanford Beer here putting up a viable system modeling there that you can use to guide your adjustment or your repairing to the broken system. And you have a very powerful tool called system dynamics modeling, and you can use computers to simulate the difficult situation of your complicated system. But all of them belongs to realist approach. Then the second category is the UK group, okay, software system approaches. And Peter knows a lot about that. University of Hull is the center. Okay, so some colleagues do not agree, says, okay, something here needs to be replaced by that. That's okay. And the last one, which is my personal interest, I'm highly I'm interested to the point that I stopped all my academic work and going into business, just trying to practice the last one called technology of participation. Actually, the Club of Remy you see is just a tiny bit of technology of participation being used. So the reason I put this outline here, these 3 pages here, is that I do have a plan to rewrite this thing. I mean, to do an update of it, because it was written in 1993, and now it's 30 years later. I think a lot of contents need to be updated. The way I wish that to do the updating is through discussion. So this is also this is answer to Effie's question, but also a request to Effie. Do you have a group of people who will be interested in discussing this this text? Because in Club of Remy we had already run twice of discussing one book in multiple sessions. First, we discussed Leo's book, and then we discussed Bernard's book. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can find them. Each book uses about 9 or 12, between 9 or 12 sessions. And basically, each time people digest one chapter, and they meet together to have questions, suggestions, modifications, etc. And the whole thing is got recorded. So that is the suggestion I give back to Effie. It's up to you to decide if you have enough people in your group. The final PPT, Effie's 3 important how-to questions. I have a brief reply here. How to find a common ground and converse, work together from different disciplines, different scientific national cultures with different ideas. I think the answer will be, I just mentioned the communicatics. It's a set of tools and methodologies that you can use, everyone can use. It could be the second round of multiple session discussion if you're interested in that. How to use cybernetics archives? We have Peter here, so I will leave this question to Peter. But I think topic-centered, question-centered, problem-centered should be a way to go. For example, in the international relation area, I think the Middle East problem is a very, very big problem that worth your study. And from I think 2008 to 2018, there is very interesting EU debt problem that creating chaos in multiple countries. That is also fantastic cybernetics research topic. A current farmer demonstration problem. Currently, as we talk here, there are a lot of farmers doing protest in Europe. This kind of a problem, we can start from how to define them. And then cybernetics should have some treasure methods or framework of models that could help maybe solving or dissolving those problems. How to think about IR? My knowledge about AI is very tiny and very limited. During my PhD study, I had one of the advisor who was an expert on international relationships. So I learned just a tiny bit of that. But in answering that question, I will promote this science of 4 different type science framework, because 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 are all involved in international relationships. So using that framework, I would like to start by questioning, is there a community involved in the question you want to study? And is there an inside or outside issue? And what are the rules of the game? And are different goals compatible or not? So that will be my answer to these questions in the email. I hope I'm not taking too much time. No sound?
No, we're here. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Questions?
Oh, look.
Just a reflection first. Effie, thank you. You really know who to invite to the party. I especially delighted, Jason, in watching Peter's delight on his face throughout at least the first half, and then deep interest returning to delight. And that's the longest, Peter, I've seen you smile since, well, I haven't known you that long. I'm really struck with how you're using the word chaos, because I also think of it as hidden order. And I work with I've worked with K-12. So I am a practitioner in all forms of education, but also a researcher, because I led I worked with very old, frail adults and people living with dementia. I'm also a language educator. So the word chaos, I think of hidden order, and I'm interested in helping the education system unlearn and help children stay in that sense of knowing that wisdom that's in them, so they can learn like a pattern language. And I'd love to know more about pattern language and eigen.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you, Lisa. You're right. I've known Jason for many years, and it was incredibly insightful of Effie to invite Jason. I've not seen that presentation before. I've heard bits and pieces of it, but not in that coherent way. So again, thank you, Jason, and also for the invitation on multiple levels for multiple opportunities to move forward. And yes, you're right in a way, Lisa. I was smiling because it is a wonderful collection of essentially many cybernetic strands and thoughts that can help structure ways forward. Yeah, that's